In this lesson, we are going to work specifically with columns in the spreadsheet. So the first thing we're going to learn how to do is how to add a label to columns. So we're going to make sure that cell A1 is active, and we're going to add a label to this column and say check number. And we're going to press the tab key, and that takes us to B1. And our next column header is going to be paid to. And we're going to press the tab key, and that takes us to C1. And then description. Press tab. Next one, deposit. Oops, spelled that wrong, so I'll fix that up. Withdrawal. And balance. Now balance is my last column header, so I'm going to press enter. And what that does is takes me down to the next row. Now at this point we're going to insert an additional column. So we're going to insert a date column in the first column. So we're going to select column A, and you'll notice that when we do that the column turns blue. And I'm now going to go to insert columns, and you'll notice that it inserts to the left of the column that I had selected. I can now select A1 and type in date and press enter. Okay, so insert columns is the menu item to insert a column, and it will insert to the left of the column that you have selected. Now that we've done that, we're now going to change the appearance of our column headers. So I'm going to select cells A1 through G1 by dragging my mouse. I'm going to click in A1 and drag all the way over to G1. So I'm going to highlight all of them, and then I'm going to release my mouse button. And on the formatting toolbar, I'm going to click the Align Center Horizontally icon, which is this icon right here. And as soon as I click on that, my titles become centered. Now I'm going to select bold and light blue for my column labels. So with my columns still, or my cells still selected, I'm going to click the B for bold, and then I'm going to come over here to the letter A, and I'm going to click the drop down arrow next to the letter A, and I'm going to pick a light blue. So it really doesn't matter what we pick here, but we'll pick that. Alright, now that we have our column labels set up, we are going to enter in some data. So I'm going to select cell A2, and I'm going to enter in the date, today's date. So I'm going to do 1/18/10, and now I'm going to select G2, and our starting balance is 5,000. So I'm going to type in 5,000. Notice I haven't put in a comma in the 5,000. I've just entered in 5,000, and I'm going to press enter. Now, for the deposit, withdraw, and balance columns, they're going to contain dollars with the dollar sign appearing in front of the numbers. All three columns are going to be formatted the same. So we're going to select columns E through G. So I'm going to click on column E and drag over to G. So I've selected all three columns, and I'm now going to format it for dollars by clicking on this icon right here. And now I'm going to format it. So I'm going to go to Format, Cells, and I'm going to make sure I'm on the Numbers tab. And in my category box, I'm going to click on Currency. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm in English, USA, and I've got 2 decimal places with only one leading 0, so I'm going to click OK. And now you'll see that my number 5,000, I typed it in with no comma, but now I formatted it with a $sign, has 2 decimal places, and also puts my comma in. Okay, so we're now ready to enter in a check. So we need to enter in a date, so I'm going to make this in the future. So I'm going to say 1/21/10, and my check number is going to be 104, and I've paid it to Energetic Electric. Press my tab key, and I'm going to say monthly electricity bill. Now you're going to notice that as I tab from one column to the next, it seems like it cuts off the words that I've typed in. I'm going to show you how to fix that in just a moment. This isn't a deposit, this is going to be a withdrawal. So I'm going to tab past the deposit column and then enter in 250 for the withdrawal. I'm going to tab again and press enter. Now I'm going to show you how to fix up your column widths. You can do what's called an auto fit by laying your mouse cursor between the 2 columns. So I've laid it between C and D, and I'm going to double click, and it automatically fits it to the widest entry in the column. So I'm going to do the same thing for column D, and I'm going to fix up my spelling here in column D. So you can just double click. If for some reason you want to adjust it to a wider width, you can click in between the 2 columns, hold and drag, and you can make it wider, or you can make it smaller if you wish. But I'm going to double click again and have it auto fit. Okay, now our current balance is no longer $5,000. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to enter in a formula. So I'm going to click in cell G3, and I'm going to start my formula with an equal sign, because it always has to start with an equal sign. And then I'm going to say G2 minus, so I need the minus sign, or sorry, G2 plus E3, in case there's a deposit, minus F3. Press my enter key, and it now subtracts my balance. Okay, now we're going to enter a check that's bigger than your balance. Okay, so we're going to enter a check on row 4 for amount larger than your balance. So I'm going to click in A4, and I'm going to enter in a date. So I'm going to say 1/30/10, and check number is going to be 206, and I'm going to pay it to Fast Cars Incorporated. Okay. And for the description, it's going to be for a new car. And for the withdrawal, I'm going to make it $7,000. Okay. Now, what we can do, since we've already entered in a formula before, all we have to do is drag down. So I'm going to lay my mouse cursor over the corner. You'll see there's a little square of the corner. I'm going to click, hold, and drag down. And what this does is it copies the formula from the cell above it, but just moves each row down. So where up here it was G2 plus E3 plus F4, you'll notice the letters stay the same, but the rows change. So it's now going to be G3 plus E4 minus F4. And if you know anything about banking, you know you can't write a check bigger than what your balance is. So what Excel does is it automatically, so it tells you that you have a negative balance. Okay, So what we're going to do is we're going to add an additional row. So we're going to pretend that in our fictitious checkbook here that we forgot to add in an earlier deposit that we had in. So I'm going to click on row 4, and you'll notice when I click on that row it highlights the entire row, and I'm going to insert a new row. I'm going to say insert rows, and just like our column inserted to the left of the row that we selected, the rows insert above the column that we had selected. Okay, and so now we're going to enter in our information. So on 7, or on this was before, so on 1, 25, 10, there was no check number, there was no paid to, but the description is our paycheck, and we got a deposit of $20,000. Yeah, wouldn't that be great? And I'm going to tab over. Now I have to fix my balance here, and I also have to fix my formula. So I'm going to click on my square to the right, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag down, and I'm going to fix both columns at one time. And now you'll see that it's updated itself. I had the $20,000 deposit, and then it subtracted the $7,000 withdrawal.